Okay, looks like we're on. Okay guys, Unbiased Bob here. It's August 18th. We're going to take a look at doing some game development with 27B QWEN. I see a lot of people comparing it to 4.6 because of a couple benchmarks on the model card. And I've got a game here. It's live on burnout.com. At least 5 people have played this game when I bring an iPad to them and load this thing up. So this isn't something that's had a lot of use before, but it's kind of a fun little cookie clicker style game. And what we're going to do is, and I coded this with Opus 4.6 back in, I'm not sure, March, April. And so I thought this would be a really fun kind of handoff to say, look, we made this service with 4.6. Let's see what the 27B can do on that base and on that foundation to see if it feels the same qualitatively. I've done a decent amount of analysis, I think, on my channel by running these long automated tests that go for 4 hours or 8 hours or whatever. And so this is meant to be kind of more fun, lighthearted. If a couple people hop in and watch while it's live, that's cool. I'll probably do a video and like use this footage, which reminds me I should probably start the recording in OBS Studio. But yeah, on YouTube, I thought that I was going to respond to every comment, and like I posted a video last night and I just can't. There's 120 comments came in, and so I apologize if you show up at my channel and make a useful, informative comment or something and I don't get back to you. I'm sorry about that. The reason I make this channel, and I feel maybe a little bit similar to the other creators like Luke's DevLab in this space, because when I watch Luke review a new model and he looks at the model card, he says, these are the trust me bro benchmarks. And for me, this whole channel and this whole experience is about measuring these really interesting machines that we have with these LLMs. They're absolutely wild pieces of technology. And the problem with using the cloud AI is that we don't know what the parameters are. We don't know if they're changing the quant behind the scenes. We don't know what the hardware is. There's so much opacity. And so the local AI, I think, is really important, and we should lean into that measurement aspect. So when I see people coming out to my YouTube and they're saying, hey, you got the temperature wrong and you didn't check the template and you should have done this and that, and here's the real settings that you should use. When I saw that, I was like, these are my people, man. I was like, we need to be measuring, and the same thing with the local llama community on Reddit. So I absolutely love that attitude of, it's kind of, I'm not a scientist, but it's kind of like the scientific method. If you can, have a falsifiable hypothesis and then test it, it's a lot of fun to do. So anyways, we're going to take a look at burnout.com, what the game is like. We are going to, I'll try to keep an eye on, I don't think anyone's going to pop in, but if there's any comments on the live stream, I'll try to, say hi or whatever. But this is mainly just about a 30-minute session of actual coding, actual work with the 27B. One of the things that I was working on with this game was automated testing. And because I didn't want to have Opus go off and do a bunch of work and create a new feature and then come back to be broken. So I wanted Opus to be able to spin up a headless browser and test the game. And so I think that was working. It's been a long time since I've looked at this project. So maybe we'll also get some stats about like how many lines of code it is and what language is used and all that. Yeah, that's about it. So we'll probably wrap up around 1:15. Okay. All right. So what is this game? So Burnout is a game like Cookie Clicker. And it's an incremental game. Okay. So the idea is you get upgrades, you click, you watch numbers go up, and that's the entire game. It's a kind of a silly genre. Other games in this genre are like Melvor Idle, which I've played a lot of hours of. It's like Cookie Clicker, Melvor Idle. I don't even know what else is in this genre. There was a really fun one about Kittens game. And, you know, it's not the most popular segment on Twitch or anything, but I had a lot of fun playing these games. So in Cookie Clicker, the whole idea is you're baking cookies and you can get upgrades like grandmas that bake cookies for you and cursors that click for you. And Burnout is intended to be basically the same, but you're writing code. All right. And so in Burnout, you can click to write code, and then eventually the code generates money for you. Now, the problem is we're a company with a burn rate, and so we're actually losing money. And the main idea or ethos behind the game that I was trying to go for was this like repeated failure mode that some startup founders go through, where you have an idea, maybe you create a project, and then you like go bankrupt, and then you start over with some kind of benefit from that experience. And so there's this achievement system with AI generated art where you can, lose 5 times and you get extra money at the start. Now the game isn't balanced, and there's some big issues. Another mechanic that the game has is you can buy coffee machines, and the coffee machines give a benefit to the people who are next to them. All right, so if I hire an engineer, that didn't seem to work. Do I not have enough money? Well, we found a bug already. We can have QWEN 27B try to fix this bug. All right, I think we have a bug in the game. Spin it up locally and see why I can't hire a junior engineer. Do we have an error in the JavaScript console? Nothing. So anyways, the idea is that, yeah, if you put the junior engineer near the coffee machines, they write more code. And there's a whole tree of upgrades that aren't visible right now because I think with a lot of these incremental games, they deliberately limit the amount of mechanics and upgrades and things that you can get early on, just to make it less overwhelming as you unlock 1,000, upgrades as the game proceeds. Oh yeah, and so another thing that I wanted to do today is I don't necessarily trust QWEN 27B to the extent that I trust Opus to go off, modify a large-ish code base. Honestly, it's not a large code base, but a code base that's functional and has achievements and login and stats and game mechanics and is deployed to a website. You know what I mean? It's not like Minesweeper that we make in these benchmarks. So I'm actually going to stop it, and we'll resume it within tmux. And spin it up again, and there's a method to the madness here. Yeah, so I wanted to have Fable keep an eye on it. Dangerously skip permissions, of course. So let's fire up Fable. You're going to keep an eye on QWEN. QWEN's modifying this production code base. So I want to look for issues with secrets or credentials. I want to look through the tmux logs themselves, as well as maybe the py trace file. for loops or, you know, run-on generations. And I want to also have it look in general for the code quality. So I'll give it a little bit more context. The code base was written by Opus 4.6 a while ago, and we're resuming development with QWEN 27B. And so the idea here is we'll just use this first tmux pane to kind of keep an eye on it. And then we'll have Opus just, you know, there to watch. So what happened? I ran out of money. That's good. Did I get an achievement? Now, one of the first things, you know, maybe this is the problem. I think I had done some work on these mechanics and then I hadn't pushed it live for some reason, because in this type of incremental game, I was targeting like a 5 or a 10-minute loop, like faster than a Balatro game, for example. And I was kind of inspired by a lot of these roguelikes where you try something and maybe you say, okay, I'm just going to hire like 7 junior engineers and see like how far the company can get with that kind of strategy. And then the company like blows up in some way with a unique error message, and then you say, okay, well that didn't work. Like maybe I need to have a product manager or whatever. But the point is that you can go through that whole cycle, lose the game, get an achievement, unlock something new that you can try within about 10 minutes. So what the heck is QWEN doing? It's going crazy. Oh, it reproduced the problem. When the player has less than 24,000, the higher button stays enabled. It's a silent no op. So I'm interested to see if I have to tell it, oh, this is great. Okay, so Playwright, this is that headless browser. Okay, so that's excellent to see. I didn't have to prod it into doing that. Hiring works in a fresh run, it says. Money from 48 to 2,300. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna interrupt it for a second. Okay, the quintessence. Why can't loops just be solved with a simple script? Well, the issue that I'm kind of talking about here is when the model decides that it doesn't know what's going on, and then it keeps saying like, wait, maybe it's this. Oh no, hold on, maybe it's this. No, actually, I understand the problem now, it's this. And so, I don't know. I don't know how you would fix that with a simple script. All right, what's going on here? Localhost 8123. Oh, I don't even have the tab. Click write code to generate lines of code. Good luck out there. Oh, you have to lose 3 times? Ah. I wrote some JS debug. There's some like functions defined that you can call to, I don't know, like teleport yourself to a given level or whatever, some debug functions, but I don't remember what they're called. Oh yeah, debug series B, YC fail. Now we have money, but we still can't do anything. All right, let's get concrete with it. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, and then there's this boon system. I forgot about this. Okay, so in this screen, we are testing on localhost, but the game has a different version of the code. And so the version that I was developing locally had this boon system, like in a roguelike, like Slay the Spire maybe. You proceed to a certain point and then you can grab some kind of up. So what are these? Wipe all VC debt immediately. I don't think I have any debt. That one's not good. Clean code. Tech debt accumulates 50% slower. Or more lines of code production? Yeah, hit me. So it looks like we proceeded to some point. We now have the stock ticker feature. And net's going up. GPU is going up a little bit. Esports team signs $50 million sponsorship deal with energy drink company. That one's not hitting very hard. Add a JS debug script that could be called from Firefox that gives you lose 3 times. Excuse me. If I remember correctly, the game also has a way to go in here and just reset the file completely. About game saved. Well, we need that too. Another feature, make it so we can reset the browser state completely. Add this to the gear menu. All right, so what does Fable think? It's clean so far, QWEN's behaving well. You asked it to find why it can't hire a junior engineer. It traced through some code, wrote playwright repro scripts. That's good. I think there's a skill loaded into Pi. The hire button stays enabled. And clicking it does nothing. Loops and run-ons, none so far. That's good. And the code quality is reasonable. Its only stumble was running the first repro from QA without realizing Node resolves modules from the scripts location, and it's self-corrected. Okay, that's good. So Fable says it's doing a good job. Oh, okay. Where the models, yeah, that sounds like quant damage, where, you know, if you have like a heavily quantized model, it can emit a bunch of emojis like that. So are you saying like feed the output from the LLM into some kind of script that just restarts it when it detects that it's going off on a loop like that? The real bug wasn't the hiring fee. It's gated behind lose 3 times. Fable notices I gave it 2 feature requests. Fable is indicating that the model has to figure out not to use HTML or CSS directly because this stuff gets generated from a bunch of included files. I'd be surprised if QWEN is that dumb. Okay, it's adding a wipe progress test. You'll love to see it. Oh, it looks like maybe there was already a wipe all progress method. Oh. Well, it could have told me that instead of... Well, I did ask it to put it up here in this menu. Man, we're making money. Why can't we hire people yet? I think this is a significant bug. Let's restart. All right, the first tap didn't get armed. The text stays as reset all data. Why? Yeah, I saw that too. Like I can click it, but nothing happens. Just want the stronger model to sanity check it for us here. It ran reset button inner text after the first click. Oh, it's supposed to pop like a modal. It says, "Are you sure?" It's not doing that. All right, this is not an awesome sign. And the reason it's not an awesome sign is because there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 other working buttons, and it seems to be having trouble adding a new button to this menu. I mean, maybe that's hard for some reason, but it should be able to do that. I don't want Fable to intervene on my behalf here. Okay, so let's talk about this game over feature, because this is kind of the hook or the loop that I was kind of enthralled with, or thought was the interesting part about this game and this experience. And you have a game over screen that was inspired by some other games that I've played, like Marathon. And at the end of a marathon run, and I know this game is getting a lot of hate online right now, but I played, I don't know, a couple hundred hours of it or something. And at the end of it, you go through, even if you lose, you go through this like pretty rewarding dopamine, injecting set of screens where you get like the benefits from your run. And I tried to emulate that here. And it looks like this button is broken, or the... Huh. Yeah, that's not working. And then you refresh and you completely jump out of it. So anyways, the point is that you get like extra points and skills and upgrades, and then you move on from there with little snappy animations. That's the goal. As you can see, there are a couple issues with that. One is that the button broke after a partial press, and then 2, when you refresh, you completely lose the ability to get in there. So now we have the shop. That's right. After you lose once, then you get the shop. So we definitely need the IDE. It says $5 a day, and it costs $25. I'm in. And then Vim training. Okay. So that means I get 10 lines of code every time I click now? Yeah, 12 lines of code. Now we're cooking. And this is that sort of it's sort of that power fantasy of like I lost, or I failed, and I come back into the game and it's like, holy crap, I can do so much more. That's the feeling that I was trying to evoke with Burnout, and that's what we're sort of going for. Let's see if it made any progress on this reset all data button. No, it's not working still. Hey, to be fair, Fable hasn't figured it out either. So. Do we have to do this? Do we have to look at the code? What year is it? I feel like a caveman. It calls wipe progress. Well, why does this one have a this? And then nothing else has a this. What's going on with that? Oh, wipe progress is not defined. Well, this is a pretty easy problem. I'm a little surprised that QWEN is having this issue. Let's interrupt it. When I click, the function doesn't exist. That's from Firefox. Man, maybe the root the root problem is that AI is just bad, because I asked 27B to figure it out. I asked Claude Fable to figure it out. And then we looked at the code for 2 seconds and found at least one serious glaring issue. Maybe two with this thing. All right, our conclusion from this is not that we have to go back to editing code like cavemen. Oh, existential. You're running it on a 16 gig card? Holy cow. What are your speeds? Oh, now we can see that end screen animation. All right, so we got an achievement. We got carpal tunnel. We got 100 clicks. I apologize for this AI generated art that I made in like April with GPT. And the next run, I get +2 clicks, +2 lines of code per click on all future runs, and then I get +2 from achievements. I'm not sure what that part means. And then it dumps us back into the game. Nice. Okay, that was a functional like loss and then back in loop. I don't even know what happened. I wasn't paying attention. All right. Oh, Fable's looking out for us here. So we asked it to keep an eye on if it was doing anything stupid or annoying or bad with my credentials or stuff like that. And apparently it was reading the deploy file, which I don't necessarily want yet, but the build hash. Oh, stale Firefox cache was causing the issue. So QWEN edited the about JSON and the URL didn't change. It's supposed to use a cache busting string on the end of the JavaScript like this, so it doesn't do that, but the headless Chromium worked every time. The Firefox failed every time. Oh, so Fable's recommending a hard reload. So what's QWEN doing? This looks like a long reasoning section, man. This is what I don't like about QWEN 3.8 so far, is it goes off and it does stuff like this. Wait a sec, is the click actually getting double fired? Wait, let me think. Let me verify more carefully. Hold on. Wait, see, when it starts doing this, I start doubting its ability to proceed. And maybe I'm just a hater, but actually, you know what? Let me run verify wipe. Actually, wait, yeah. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical. So I can't read fast enough to verify its reasoning and what it's thinking through, but Fable can. I like telling, I don't know if anybody else uses this trick, but I like telling Fable that it can use a cheaper model in Tmux. I don't think it does a great job spawning Opus and Haiku through its own skills or whatever, but when I tell it to just do it in Tmux, then I can see exactly what happened. I can see, you know, the reasoning and the files that Codex decided to write or whatever. And I think it hides too much from me when it spawns Haiku itself. There we go. Yeah, so Fable was right. It looks like it was a cache. I see what it was trying to do. It was trying to replace its own text, so you have to click it twice to wipe your data. So there, we just reset our achievements and everything. All right, let's have it do one more thing, and then I'm going to have to wrap up for today. It's been about half an hour of programming with 27B. And, okay, commit everything, push, and deploy to prod. We'll see if it can handle this. I think it's just make deploy, or deploy.sh. I don't think it's anything complicated. One thing to note here is it is reading my agents file and it's saying I need to add a dated entry to the improvements. I think this is great. I didn't have to instruct it to do that. So I think this is better instruction following than you can get with some of these QWENs, is for it to just automatically do that instead of literally following your instructions, being like, oh, I had this in my context and I need to follow it. In my experience, I think the smaller models are just a lot weaker with that. So one concern about deployment, the wipe feature and the cache buster fix. It's important for local development. And there's a pending debug investigation. So I had asked it to, I sort of interrupted it when it was looking into the junior engineer thing, so it's rightly concerned about that. Honestly, nobody plays this game, so if it breaks production, it's not a big deal. Right. See a little bit more waffling here. Is index.html even tracked in the first place? It's a generated file, so it might not be. Oh, I think it's generated, but it's also committed. It's going to restore the build hash. Last time I deployed to Burnout was probably in like April. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a timestamp in the about page. This is version 0.2. April is my last commit. So I probably pushed to it in April. And so, but everything was pretty smooth. And I remember it being like just running one single command to deploy. Let's see what deploy does. Oh, it just rsyncs to the remote. Yeah, perfect. We'll see if the credentials still work, my SSH to that host. Yeah, perfect. Here we go, it's deploying. I'm going to do a hard refresh with Apple Shift R and Firefox, then we'll do a reset all data. And we should see another version here. Well, it's a different commit at least. Yeah, cool. Okay, well, that's it for today. So what did we do? I'll come back to my little Excalidraw outline here. So we had Opus. We have all these people saying that it's exactly like Opus, and we have Opus at home now, and the 27B is super great. I think that we saw one issue here where there was a cache busting problem. JavaScript wasn't getting refreshed, and Fable figured it out and pretty quickly. Maybe the 27B was making progress towards that, but it was definitely struggling to reproduce or understand the issue between its headless Chromium environment and what was going on in my Firefox browser. And we were able to add a couple features in a short session here. I think this is an acceptable model for this kind of work. And if you had tried the same thing in April, I'm guessing it was 3.5 that was out in April, QWEN 3.5, 27B. Probably weaker. I know the bump from 3.5 to 3.6 was a lot, but in a half-hour session, jumping into a fresh code base, 27B, made some mistakes, made some progress, and I don't know, as far as the qualitative look goes, I think that was pretty reasonable. So we'll look at this in more detail, and I'll see if I can expand this kind of burnout development stuff into some automated tests so that we can try it many times on like a controlled test in the test suite, have it go in there and use Playwright within an automated environment to get some result out. I think that would be a good test also. So anyways, thanks for hopping on, and yeah, that's it for today.